Hey!
This is JJ and Alex.
I made a name for myself. I told you I won't be denied.
As you wrap up your day, it's time to get your fix of the teams you live for and the sports you love. This is JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Welcome on in, everybody. Happy Friday to you. We finally made it to Friday. Here we are. Gosh, it was like an actual Monday through Friday gig this week. Now, we had a lot of shorter shows. Didn't feel like a regular week for us.
Which is good, because that means a lot of Mammoth and a lot of Jazz.
I'll tell you what's happening for real, though. Full show today, and we've got you covered top to bottom on all of that. So we're going to be hearing from our weekly conversation with the coach, Touringy. If you weren't tuned into Scotty G during his program, they had Bill Armstrong on. The Mammoth stay pat. And,
sort of.
well, I mean, obviously.
Uyghur's a big pickup.
Uyghur, during the middle of the week, I think people then start to go, what's the ticking timeline going to look like, coming up to today's deadline at 1 p.m. when it hit? And they said, you know what? Whatever was offered, whatever was thrown out there, it wasn't good enough for the Mammoth to say, hey, we want to make this massive move. Buckle down. Get yourself that first wild card spot. Because as one of my friends texted me today, because the Pacific Division is bleep.
Right.
So we might be able to sneak a playoff series win. Could you imagine a series win in the Stanley Cup playoffs?
Well.
And it's legit when you start to think about, because I do think the Mammoth are better than right now all the teams of the Pacific. They would be matched up against the
Golden
number?
Knights.
Yeah, it'd be the Golden Knights at this point.
And then they play the winner of Edmonton and Anaheim.
Why not steal that one too?
Right.
Why not? So optimism bounding right now, and I think that if you're a Mammoth fan, just be excited that you didn't see the name T. Jaginla getting thrown over to some other team for the possibility to sign up somebody to whittle down your cap number. I think Bill Armstrong showed what he's made of, which is we're not going to do this thing where we just sell it all off. We're not going to give up our awesome prospects because as everybody else kind of assumes, I think Tej is a year out. I think Tej is probably on this roster next year.
Yeah.
So then you start to see that development. Then you start to get excited. They pick up a D-man, and then they obviously bolster that blue line. They feel pretty good about it. I don't know if you saw – did you see Uyghur's hello to Utah?
Yeah.
On his back porch?
I did.
I didn't see his luggage.
You could tell he was in Calgary.
Well, there's a hot tub out there. It was just like –
well, you got to have a hot tub in Calgary.
Have a hot tub in Calgary, man. He's like, hey, listen – I'm coming, Utah. We're showing up. We're going to get this thing done. And there are guys. They talk about how he hasn't had a great season this year. Fine.
Yeah. Had 20 goals last year, and I think just 3 this year.
Restart it up. Look, this is a perfect place for you to come and restart this thing up.
20
Fire
goals
back up.
20 goals from a D-man is crazy.
Yeah,
good.
it is. And
that's what he's capable of.
But he's also done 10 years in the league. So you're talking about that kind of like Alex Kerfoot type of of leadership in terms of how long he's been in the league, how much he's been around. 32 years old. He's got 5 more years on this deal, so hopefully it works out. We'll get to Coach Bear, of course, in the 4 o'clock hour. I'm sure he'll be super chatty about the front office dealings. I'm sure he's not interested as much in that as much as he is going, I know I talk to Bill all the time. We work things out. We talk about the stuff that we want. And the proof in his job is to do what he's done the last 2 games. Show up. Get the win. Last night, another big one. You talk about responding from Sunday,
oh,
JJ.
Man.
That was just,
oh, gosh.
These last 2 games have been awesome.
It's been very impressive.
And to shut out Philly, and I'll tell you, when we saw Vitek getting the goal last night, I went, okay, maybe this kid's heard some noise. And
he has.
And you know what he did? He freaking showed up, shut out, 19 out of 19 saves, and guess who the tougher team was all night long? It was the Utah Mammoth. So awesome win for them on the road. We'll talk to Coach coming up. Hey, but guess what we have? We got lots of stuff to talk about, not just hockey, not just basketball, not just college football. We're going to get to all of those things. JJ, we're at the home show. How far away did you have to park from the Expo Center?
Jordan Commons.
Listen, I did the same, and so I walked over from the movie theater. I forget that the spring home show is of all the things we do. We're here at this place 6 times a year, and of all the things that we do, RV shows, boat shows, the home shows, anything else that they do. This one in the spring for the home show is hard to find parking. You know why? People are beating the door down to get that new landscaping, to get that good deal on.
This place is packed.
It is packed. And guess where we are? The Advanced Window Products booth here at the home show. So you know what that means. If you're thinking to yourself, and I don't want to short the folks here at the home show, but Advanced Windows will just be like, just call us. We'll get you the home show deal over the phone. That's the secret to this. And then you don't have to fight for the parking stuff. So if you're looking for that, if you're looking for somebody to get you hooked up with windows, we're going to be speaking with Jake and Nate a little bit later. In the meantime, let's kick off our program as we always do. Producer Alex Napolis, everything okay with you over there in Salt Lake City? Everybody okay over there?
Yep, everything good over here, man.
You're all set over there. You're not on strike. That's all I wanted to know. If you're on strike,
why would he be on strike?
I don't know. I just
Is there a labor problem going on at work?
The kids these days.
The kids these days.
Napolis.
What do you think?
Napolis.
What in the world would Napolis be doing? It would involve a strike at work. The kids these days?
I don't know. I was assuming he'd want to strike against us. That we'd be the problem.
Well, that's true.
And that's probably.
I get that. He's rolling his eyes right now because he can't wait for the weekend.
Well, now the strike is going to happen. So hopefully, when I call for the cut, we're going to get it. Alex Napolis, let's get this show going, brother.
It's time for the biggest story of the day. This is what made the cut with JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Yeah, there was a pause there.
Definitely was.
There was.
I think Napolis was trying to make us a little nervous.
That was.
Maybe this is what the kids do these days.
That was the producer's equivalent of lighting a fire under your tush there. All right, that's good. All right, we're gonna kick things off here. So, of all the goings on, of all the things that are happening around the world of sports here locally, and all the things that are going on, it's interesting to watch what is going on with this Utah Jazz team. So, my wife's out of town with a couple of the kids, and I have the older kids with me right now. So we did hey, let's go to a real restaurant. I was like, hey, Dad is going to pay. Let's all go hang out.
So you went to a all-you-can-eat buffet.
No, better. I was like, let me just, Oh, wings are 2 for $1 over at Buffalo Wild Wings. The Jazz and the Mammoth are going to be all over the screens there.
That is
I guess we'll have to go there. So we did. We went over, and we had both games in front of us. And I started to watch this oh, my goodness. The Jazz, from the get-go, were dominating that game. Trae Young, bad start to his to his day with the. Now, you took the over on the 30
I did.
and a half.
I thought he was going to go out there and just go nuts.
I don't know.
No Keontae. Wait, who knew that Ace Bailey and Isaiah Collier were going to be superstars last night?
Yeah, and I don't to have Ace.
They were the better players.
Is that a career high for him, by the way?
Ace? Yes.
So career high for him, and it's on a night that you don't have Key. It's on a night where the average age on the floor. I mean, periodically you get one of these older guys who'll come on the floor, but then the vast majority of the people who are making the moves, and Isaiah Collier continues to impress. Collier had 9 assists in the first half.
Yeah.
And you see the Wizards go out there, and they have nothing going on. And I know that that's their move, and I know that that's. I mean, they're definitely a worse team than the Utah Jazz.
They were led by Angel Reese's brother, who had 18 points and 20 rebounds.
Oh, Julian.
Yes.
Yeah.
Also known as Angel Reese's brother.
Yeah, I bet he loves being called that.
He had 10 offensive rebounds and 10 defensive rebounds.
So, Trae Young, what did he end up with? 10 points, something like that? That's
12 points in 19 minutes, 1 of 5 from 3.
He had 2 points and was 0 for 4
6
from
assists.
3 before he got it going. And
he was fine.
He didn't get it going.
Isaiah Collier was better.
Collier was better.
27 and 11.
Phenomenal.
I continue to be impressed by Isaiah Collier.
And he could have. I think he had 9 points in the first half, but he had 9 assists, and I was like, this is going to be one of his 20 assist games. So instead, in the second half, he comes out and goes, well, I'll show you how I can score too.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what they did. Filipowski with 20 as well. The young guys showed out. It's exactly what they wanted to do in a game like that. I know it didn't end in the result that you wanted, JJ, with an L, but I think that these guys take away from these types of games the stuff that's going to make them good in the future, because I'll tell you what's going to happen is the Jazz were better than the Wizards last night. They will be better than the Wizards until the end of time. because of how poorly that organization is run versus where the Jazz organization is. And I think that's the difference with a lot of these teams that are tanking is you have people who are used to this, and you have the Jazz who are trying to get away from it as quickly as possible, and winning is at a premium for them, and winning is at the top of the list. So last night was one of those games that you should feel extremely good about this young group, and we always love to see how this young core performs.
Yeah, and it's Ace Bailey scoring 32, 12 of 19. These are opportunities for these guys to go out and show what they can do. And Ace Bailey showed last night. It's kind of funny. If you go back to the draft, remember there was this idea or belief that remember Ace Bailey's agent?
Oh.
The whole situation.
What was his name? He was only with him for 15 minutes.
I don't even care about his name.
He got fired.
We just all remember that, but Ace eventually did the right thing. But anyway, there was a belief or a rumor that was all a machination to get Ace to D.C. They wanted him to be with the Washington Wizards.
Could you imagine right here?
And so the funny thing is, the Jazz select him at 5th when the Wizards had the 6th pick, and then he goes to D.C. in his first game at D.C., and he scores 32 points. I think he was highly motivated, not just because of that, but it was a great game for him. And those opportunities present themselves now. And we keep getting the question, why should I watch the Jazz over the last 20 games? Last night's another example. You want to see Ace Bailey grow in front of your eyes? Last night was one of those opportunities. You want to see Isaiah Collier get better? You saw it happen. Kyle Filipowski with 20 points, 14 rebounds. It's a pretty darn good game for Kyle Filipowski.
Yep.
So there was a lot of good things last night, and the Jazz get a win, although that was not the desired result by some. They did get a win, and they did play well. So, and second out of a back-to-back. It shows a lot about these young guys that are going to go out there on a second out of a back-to-back and play really, really good. And Bryce Sensabaugh didn't shoot the ball very well, but he did have 14 points. There was a lot of good things last night, a lot of things to like about the way that the Jazz performed last night. We're watching these young guys. We want to see them compete. You want to see if they're going to be part of the rotation next year. The Jazz have some difficult decisions to make because there's not room for everybody. So what does this roster look like next year? Well, these guys are making a case that they're a part of it. And so how do you not want Isaiah Collier to be a part of that rotation next year? Obviously, Ace Bailey's a big part of the future. But Cody Williams, 13 points, 5 of 6. He wants to continue to prove. 7 assists, by the way, for Cody Williams. He wants to continue to prove that he's growing and that he was worth that 10th overall pick a couple years ago, and that he is also a part of this rotation moving forward, and he's the 3-and-D guy.
Could you imagine at the beginning of the year going, I could see Collier and Ace Bailey combining for 60 points against the Wizards partway through the year?
That's a crazy conversation.
Because you're asking at least one of them to go for 30, which is what happened. Ace goes for 32 points, and then Isaiah Collier gets 27. So, yeah, they're at 59 points combined. And they're saying, hey, man, you've got to figure it out. You've got to make sure that you're, I don't know what it is. His shooting has just – part of the thing is that his shooting has improved so much.
Yeah.
Because at the beginning of the year when he put up a 3, you're like, ooh, I don't know if that's your shot, man.
Yeah.
Now he puts it up and you go, yeah, keep going.
Yep.
I mean, he made his first 2, and I went, I like this guy shooting from where he's shooting right now. He feels comfortable anywhere on the floor. He'll get to the hoop. He'll stay outside that perimeter, and he'll shoot. And he's just been improving game on game. And, the biggest thing about guys coming from college who are super young, it takes them so long to get those NBA rims dialed in, right? the NBA shooting, the defense is so much different. Spacing is so much different. When you get used to it, if you can translate some of that shooting in year 1, which he's already done, I think to an extent, he's really getting there. But and I know that we were talking earlier about like whether or not he's getting overlooked as a rookie. I don't think so because they've got this is by the way, I
think he's getting overlooked by the country. I don't think anyone's talking about him.
Fine.
He didn't initially make Rising Stars?
Yes.
Which kind of a joke when you look back on it.
Fine. Put a chip on that guy's shoulder all day. I don't care what it is. The reality is that the Rookie of the Year race is going to be between Konkanippel and Cooper Flag.
That's a done deal.
And that's done. And you don't have to worry about it. If you're Ace Bailey, guess what he's going to be, though? He'll probably be on that all-rookie team at some point, at some level, I think. I think he might get that respect. And if he doesn't, I'm okay with that, too. You know why? I like the chip on the shoulder idea. That guy doesn't need to get all those accolades yet. I think he will at some point need them. But you know what? I'm like, hey, ignore the Jazz for a while. If you're the rest of the country, ignore the Jazz for a while. You do it anyway. So why don't you ignore – really? Like – you ignore the Jazz all the freaking time.
They only ignore them until they're doing something really smart.
Right.
And then they want them fined.
Then they fine them. Speaking of which, we were having this conversation about Adam Silver yesterday and the league because of the glaring statistic of the bottom 10 teams in the league currently on a 44-game losing streak. Now they got snapped last night by these ridiculous Utah Jazz who got the win.
Thank Ace Bailey for that.
Yeah, somebody was going to have to win that game between Washington and Utah, two of the worst records in the league. But guess what? Adam Silver, I think, is under a lot of pressure from people who are saying, fix it. Because right now you have an image problem. Even if the lottery thing is not as big of a deal as we're making it, perceptually it's a bad deal right now. And so now they're committed to making, quote-unquote, some aggressive changes. And they say they're going to do it. He calls himself an incrementalist. He says he's going to do it. They wanted to figure out how to do it slowly. But guess what they didn't? Guess what they're not doing? They're not going to have a perfect solution. Whatever happens, but if they don't do anything, and they say that massive, or I don't know how big the changes are going to be, but quote-unquote big changes are going to happen, I don't know what that looks like, but it could be part of all the ones that we had talked about earlier. How are they going to, try to keep some of the teams that always get the lottery picks out of the lottery, or to prevent tanking? I think they just got themselves into a situation where they can't unring that bell as easily as they think.
Right.
And it's a tough thing because I don't know if Adam Silver has even the support from all the owners to make it happen, because even they are going, this is what you gave us, man. This is the stuff you gave us. And so I don't know what the end fix is going to be, but I think last night he felt pressured to make a comment on all that stuff, and he did it.
Well, there's something that has to be done. Now, do I pretend to know what that is, what the right decision is? I have no idea how you fix this problem. Because the real problem with the NBA is there's just not a lot of ways to build a championship roster. And if you are trying to win a championship, then it's tough, because we all know in order to win a championship, you probably need one of the top 5 players or two of the top 10 or some combination thereof. If you look at all the champions over the years, they all had some of the best players in the world on those teams, sometimes multiple. So that's the way. So how do you get those players? Well, free agency's kind of dead nowadays because nobody's letting their contract lapse to where you can actually go out and do free agency. They're just forcing trades. So if you don't have the assets to go make a big trade, kind of like what the Jazz just did recently with Jaren Jackson Jr., then you got to build in the draft. And in order to do that, if you want to win the top pick, chances are you probably need to be really bad to do it. And so teams are incentivized to lose. Teams are incentivized not to compete. That's got to be changed. You got to figure out a way to reward teams, no matter what the outcome is, to win and compete, because that's what this is all about and that's what people want to see. Nobody wants to go to an NBA game and not see the best players on the floor. And right now you have the good teams are load managing their best players, and the bad teams are benching or injury reporting their best players so that they lose. Ultimately, the person that loses is the consumer, the fan, the people watching the games. And long term, that can hurt the league. Right now, the league probably doesn't care because they're getting a lot of money from their TV partners. But when the TV partners start seeing collapsing ratings, they're going to bail out because they want to go put their money in football.
Load management has now been turned into a verb by Jeremiah Jensen. You should.
You just got load managed.
He's like, I don't know. We've been load managing throughout the year. He was particularly load managed at the front end of his career, and I think that's been good for us.
Can you imagine show up to work someday and you're just sitting there like your boss comes to you, hey,
what are you doing?
You haven't done anything today.
Yeah.
And just look up, dude, I'm load managing.
I'm currently load managing, bro.
Lay off me, man.
Lay off. Everything's got to be figured out here. So, all right, we'll take a break. We'll come back. We've got more to go right around the corner. So stay right here, 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone.
Your home for the best coverage of the Jazz, Utes, and Cougars is right here on the Zone. This is JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Welcome on in, everybody. JJ and Alex, 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone. Thanks for being with us. We are at the home show at the Southtown Expo Center, the Mount America Expo Center. Excuse me.
Yes. Old habits.
So we're trying to get the broadcast feed up just so you can see this ridiculously wrapped advanced window. That's why you do it, right? Hopefully I'm not offending anybody.
No, it gets attention. You know who it is, and you know who's driving down the freeway when you see it.
It's orange. The Signature Advanced Windows orange with the Signature Advanced Windows blue.
And it's a Cybertruck.
Which
stands out.
And here, it's parked on the floor. I love it. It's parked on the floor here at the Expo Center. So come down and see it. Or you can get an awesome deal on windows if you're looking to get some windows, advanced windows. And Jake has been kind enough to take off as much money as they're able to take off this entire year. And so we'll keep those deals rolling with you as well. In the meantime, so as everything starts to shake out, BYU loses. They've lost. I think the stat that I saw Mitch Harper put up, our BYU insider, BYU's lost 9 of their last 13.
Yes.
That's not good.
No.
More importantly, I think they're 4 in a row. They've lost 4 in a row. They have been absolutely lost in this current haze that they have found themselves in. And it's not going to get any better because the Texas Tech Red Raiders, a top 10 basketball team, are coming to the Marriott Center on Saturday for a season finale and possibly the last game for A.J. DeBonsa to play on that Marriott Center floor. It's a weird way that we're ending his freshman season maybe at home for him if they don't get the win, to be losing 5 in a row possibly. Is there a chance that they – I keep asking because they've fallen so far off that I'm wondering if the committee looks and goes, I don't like that BYU team right now, and they're obviously looking for an at-large bid. And the Big 12 is a very competitive league, but they have not been very competitive this last half of the season.
I think the committee's certainly going to punish them for their fall recently and obviously take the injuries into consideration. But even with all that has happened, BYU's resume is still strong enough to be an 8-9, at worst a 10 seed. So they did enough before Richie went down to be in the tournament, to basically be a lock. And you also have the AJ factor. You don't think the NCAA tournament, if they have to pick and choose between BYU or one of those other teams that don't have a player of that magnitude, that they're not going to want to put AJ DeBonsa in the tournament? So I think that also helps them as well. So I don't think BYU has to worry about falling out of the NCAA tournament. What they have to worry about is their ability to be competitive once they get there. And we talked to JT early in the week, Jonathan Tavernari, former BYU Cougar, who knows this team well and has followed every second and every play that they've had this year. And he feels like they're playing like a team that's just waiting to get to the tournament. Like, we don't have a Big 12 title to play for. He didn't say that he had any inside information. This is not what the players or the coaches are saying or think. But
yeah, I think he said
it looks like a team that is just buying time until the NCAA tournament starts, or maybe in the Big 12 tournament, to just go out there and put it together then, because their incentive right now is not – they don't have a Big 12 championship to play for. So once tournament season comes around, maybe they believe deep down that they can turn this on and they have enough talent on the top end to do some damage. But it's hard to believe that, and it's hard to see that based on how we're seeing this team play as a team. We know what AJ can do. We know what Rob Wright can do. But as a collective, as an entire team, this team is not good enough to win tournament games.
No.
Big 12 or NCAA.
But what's wild, think about where we were at the beginning of the year where it was like, man, I mean, I guess you could fall to a 4 seed.
Right.
You know, and I guess they could tumble all the way down to a 4.
Hey, in that league, that's not that bad.
Now it's like this. Hey, they could be a sneaky 10 seed over the they might be able to sneak a win against a 7 seed.
Are we going to get a Utah State 7 seed versus a BYU 10 seed?
How hilarious would that be?
That's not happen, but that'd be crazy.
No, but speaking of Utah State, at the very least, they're going to walk away co-regular season champions on Saturday after their game against New Mexico. The Lobos coming to Logan. Both New Mexico and Utah State are at the top of the league, and they both lost terrible games this week that put them in just the weirdest position.
But they lost to the 2 hottest teams in the league.
Well, it's crazy because Colorado State we gave 0 chance to most of the way through the season. And even when they were taking on New Mexico this week, it was like, oh, boy, well, Utah State's got to take care of business against UNLV. Did not. Lost by 20. And then they go, okay, well, New Mexico's not going to lose to Colorado State. And then they do. So now Utah State, at the very least, walks out of there. I know they're not thinking about it like this. There's no way that Jared Calhoun wants to end his season with a loss at home. By the way, Jared Calhoun, a name that's being thrown around there for many folks who are wondering who's going to replace Coach Tang at Kansas State. I don't know how
that's
many.
That's not news that Aggie fans wanted to wake up to today.
Yeah, but
it's reality.
But at some point, aren't you used to it if you're an Aggie fan?
Yeah.
Next man
it's a good
up.
problem to have, but it is a problem because people want your coach every single year.
Yeah, and so I wonder if so there's the possibility of Cincinnati, there's a possibility of Pitt, there's a possibility of Kansas State. Those are all coaching vacancies, and if you're Utah State, you unfortunately are good enough every year that everybody looks at your coach and goes, "Thank you very much. We'll pay him $4.5 million, and he'll be our coach." That's on the low end.
If you're a team in the Midwest, especially a Power 4 level team, isn't Calhoun at the top of your list with his ties to the Midwest? His ability, what he did at Youngstown State was really impressive. Like, he knows the league. His ties to Bob Huggins. There's so many things and reasons why, if you're a Cincinnati or Pitt, that would be the perfect hire for you. And so it's not just Kansas State that Utah State's going to have to fend off. It's a lot of other Midwest schools at that high level that are going to be looking for a new coach. And so I'm sorry, Aggie fans, your coach is going to be on the short list for a lot of teams that are looking for a coach this offseason. We'll see how it all goes, because it felt like Jared Calhoun maybe could plant some roots here for a little bit. I mean, there's no reason to think he's going to be here for 30 years or anything crazy like that, but I mean, at just age 44, there was the ability to have him here for a long period of time is the stability that Utah State's looking for, and there was a hope or a belief. We'll see. He certainly earns the attention that he's getting around the country with a lot of different jobs that are going to come up in the offseason.
Real quick, then, before we get out here, BYU taking on Texas Tech tomorrow. Utah State hosting New Mexico tomorrow. How do those games shake out here? And what would you want? What's the perfect scenario for BYU fans to feel okay about going into the NCAA tournament, possibly backing in on a 5-game losing streak?
You don't want to go in with a losing streak. You're playing a really good team at your building. It's senior night. They're going to honor some guys. You don't want to lose in the Marriott Center. You don't want to lose in front of the home fans. You don't want to lose on senior night, the last game. I mean, and let's be honest, it's probably AJ's last game. I don't know what Rob Wright's going to do next year either. So you don't want to lose going out. And so there's a lot of incentive for BYU to show up big. And look, Texas Tech is great, but they don't have JT Toppin, and they won't for the rest of the year. So we saw them lose. Who beat them recently? Somebody knocked them off. It was a shocker.
Oh, it was Arizona State.
Arizona State. No, wait. Was it Arizona State beat Kansas?
Oh, no, it was Kansas. Yeah.
Who beat Texas Tech? I'm sorry. I forgot. It was
it Cincinnati? Oh, Cincinnati beat a couple of teams recently.
So anyway, they got upset recently. So it's not like right now Texas Tech is this juggernaut either. So they're a little injured as well. So great chance for BYU to get that win. As far as up in Logan, I want to see the Utah State team that had that 8-game win streak, because we haven't seen them in the last 4 games.
That's concerning.
Very.
At this time of year, you're supposed to be getting to that point where you're getting better.
Yeah.
And it's been sputtery the last few weeks, and it's been
what happened last year?
Inconsistent.
I know Scott Gerard would tell you last year that team ran out of gas.
100%.
And they got to the NCAA tournament and they got blown out. It feels similar right now. It feels like they're running out of gas. And so to get a big win at the Spectrum, to win the Mountain West Conference Championship outright for the final time that they play a Mountain West Conference game would be a perfect ending to this regular season and vault Utah State into the postseason with a lot of confidence, being the number 1 seed down in Vegas. They want to avoid UNLV, which is likely to be the 7th seed, right? So, and I think Colorado State will be the 6th seed. So you want to avoid that part of the bracket. Sure. You want to be number 1. And so there's a lot of incentive for the Aggies to show up big on Saturday. And I think they will. I think they'll win that game. They match up really well with New Mexico. They hammered them down in the pit. I expect the same thing to happen on Saturday.
BYU, best I can do is to get 500 in league play. I don't think that affects where – I think their seed – is their seeding set for the Big 12 tournament?
No, they could be a 9 or a 10.
Okay.
Depending on the results. If West Virginia loses and they win, I believe they'll be the 9. If West Virginia wins and they win, they'll be the 10. If they lose, they'll be the 10.
So 9 or 10.
9 or 10 is where they're locked in.
Either way, those are not places you thought you were going to be in the Big 12.
No.
You were shocked. I mean, the reality is that a 9 or 10 seed in the Big 12 tournament, if you would have said that at the beginning of the year, like, yeah, that's where they'll be at, you'll be like, what happened?
Right.
And it's been – and obviously you go –
that's exactly.
How about a massive injury to one of your best players? And that'll be a nice sight tomorrow night up at the Marriott Center. I think, Richie's going to get as big of a standing O as anybody is going to get in that entire place. And so you feel for that kid. But, man, BYU's got to right this ship. If not, the season will be over very quickly for them. And March will be short-lived, and if they go through And it wasn't that it was a prediction from you. It was more of a BYU could lose out the rest of the year. They may not win another basketball game this year. And if that's the case, end the year on a 6-game losing streak, barely getting to the NCAA tournament certainly was not the expectation that a lot of folks had. That's a bummer. But and I don't think you necessarily fix anything if you sneak a win against Texas Tech. It'd be like that. It would feel nice.
Here's the harsh reality: is the injuries have reduced BYU's ability to play at the level that they were earlier in the season. It's just you're not going to be able to replace Richie Saunders. They already had depth issues. They are who they are right now. And so they're going to have to lean on AJ and Rob Wright to have big games. They're going to need guys to contribute in some way and just try to do the best they can moving forward. That's all they can do. It's not like you can, like somebody's coming back from an injury, or you can try somebody off the bench in a different role. Those are not options. They just have to continue to fight. The question is, how much fight are we going to see from this BYU team? What is this group made of? We're going to find out about that. We're going to find out a lot about Kevin Young and his ability and his staff to coach and motivate a team right now that's in a really tough spot. It was easy last year. It's not easy this year. This is a big deal, a challenge for Kevin Young, and we'll see how he handles this challenge as well.
We'll take a break. We'll come back. We are at the Mountain America Expo Center here in Sandy. We are at the Advanced Window Products booth because Advanced Window Products, their best deal of the entire year, is right now today, and you don't even have to be at the show to be able to get it. If you're in the need for brand new windows or sliding doors or anything to make sure that you hold all of that precious either heat in the winter or the cool in the summer, we want to be able to help you out, and we'll get you that deal with Advanced Windows coming up next. We've got a Would You Rather also around the corner. Stay with us on a Friday edition of JJ and Alex, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Listen, everybody. Real-life hypotheticals to get your brain churning. As JJ and Alex ask, would you rather?
All right, everybody, welcome back. JJ and Alex, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. We are at the home show here at the Expo Center in Sandy, and if you're joining us on our KSL Sports YouTube channel, you can see that bright orange Cybertruck that we're plopped right next to.
I'm sure you've all seen it on the freeway.
This actually is great because, sometimes when we're at this home show, you'll have somebody creep up behind you and go, "Are you that guy from TV?" Up to JJ and I go.
That's never happened, by the way. Ever.
They breathe on your neck. Hey, guys. All right. Would you rather be the Boston
You on Channel 2? Have I seen you on Channel 2?
No, it's like this. I love watching you every night on Channel 13. It's great. You're like, yeah, okay.
How's Rungy doing? What's Rungy up to?
Oh. All right, listen. Inside TV jokes aside, JJ.
Yeah.
Right? Would you rather be the Boston Celtics right now walking into the playoffs with the triumphant return of Jason Tatum? Doesn't it always make you nervous when they're trying to get back this early?
Yeah, it does.
It freaks me out a little bit. But Boston Celtics returning Jason Tatum, or a team like the Spurs who are kind of finding an interesting groove. And last night I was watching the Spurs Pistons game, and I thought, hold on. I mean, I know. Are we giving enough credit to the Spurs? I feel like they are just as big of a contender in the West as anybody else is.
I say this all the time. You don't skip steps, and it feels like the Spurs are skipping steps right now. I just feel like it can't be real, because there's no way you go from missing the playoffs completely for a while, and just in Wembanyama's third season, all of a sudden you're not just going to make the playoffs, but you could make the finals. I mean, they went 4 or 5 against the Thunder this year, so it's not crazy that they couldn't beat them, right? So I still think that the Spurs are another year or two away. So I would have to say the Celtics because, A, the East is light. The path to the finals is much easier in the East. And because Jaylen Brown has become the leader of that team. So Jason Tatum coming back, you already have an alpha in Jaylen Brown. So you don't need Jason Tatum coming back to be the alpha this time around. You just need him to come back. Maybe you start slow, 15 minutes a night, 20 minutes a night until you feel good about things. But you're adding Jason Tatum to a team that's already they were 40-20 in their record. So and why not them in the East? So I would rather be the Celtics right now, but I could see how somebody be like, "You're crazy, man. The Wembanyama and the Spurs, they're ready. They're ready to go.
They're
I don't know.
just going to have to go through a gauntlet to try to get to the NBA Finals.
It's just so tough.
All right. Bear Touringy, head coach of the Utah Mammoth, going to join us next right here, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Accessing.
When TV and radio collide.
Love it.
Wow. This is what you get. You're listening to JJ and Alex.
Don't touch that dial.
On 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Your exclusive radio home of the Utah Mammoth is right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Now it's time to hear from the head coach of the Mammoth, Andre Touringy.
Welcome on in, everybody. It is JJ and Alex, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Thanks for being with us today on a Friday. We are at the Expo Center here in Sandy at the Advanced Windows booth. Come over, say hi, high-five us, whatever you want to do. We've got the stream up live also on our KSL Sports page and on our KSL Sports YouTube page as well. Joining us on the program as he does every Friday and or Thursday or whenever we can sneak it in, and he's nice enough to join us even from the road. He's the best-looking man in a three-piece suit on an NHL bench. He is
no doubt.
Bear Touringy. Coach, what's going on?
Oh, very good. What about you guys?
Oh, we're good. I saw last night you allowed yourself to get a little bit loose and took the jacket off. Still kept the vest on in the post-game interview. You must be getting sweaty in some of these games too, but I can't imagine you're not pleased with how these guys have responded since Sunday's game against Chicago. How big of a deal has it been to hit the road and get those first 2 wins of these 5 games on the road, Coach?
Yeah, that was an important one. I think, like you mentioned, after the game against Chicago, we wanted a bounce back, which we got, and then it's important for us to show some consistency. You know, we made an important trade deal, help us by getting in guys like Uyghur, and it was important for us to show we were up for business and we're capable of being focused, even if there's a lot of emotion around the trade deadline. And a lot of distraction. I think it was good to see the boys really get tuned in and play the way they did.
Let's talk about Uyghur, somebody you've had to scout quite a bit. Now he's on your side. How does this move help you guys, and what do you know about him on and off the ice?
I coached him at the World Championship when I coached Canada. We won a gold medal together. He's a warrior. He's a really guy who play the game hard. Play the right way. He does all those unsung stuff, blocking shot and recovering loose puck. He has a good read. He has a good brain. I think he will fit perfectly in our style of play. We like to play with a lot of pace. We like to play fast, moving the puck quick. I think he will be able to do that, moving the puck to our forwards. So really excited to add Weeks to our group.
Coach, you've watched your guys play with what I've been impressed by these last 2 games, and I know it's something you call for all the time, and it's just interesting, too, because some nights it'll look like your guys are fired out of a cannon, and they're aggressive, they're fighting, like literally fighting for that puck, and they're the ones who are putting the other team on the back foot, and the losses usually come when it's the other team that's doing that. How do you keep those guys in that consistent mode? That's obvious. It's been the case these last couple of games. They came out and they've been punching people right in the mouth.
Yeah, you know, it's funny because it's not that easy that people think it's just moving your feet. No, it's more than that. It's you need to be on top of your game mentally as well, because a lot of that it's a read. It's okay, where's the next play, and I need to be already in movement to go close the next option and that kind of stuff. So you need to be, as much as you need to be intense mentally, you need to be even more intense. The other way around. It's not just about being physically engaged, it's about being mentally engaged. It's the intensity you will have mentally who will make the difference. So I think having a good prep and being on your toes is something is really, really important for us.
Vitek Vanacek was mentally and physically engaged last night. What a great performance. Yeah. He doesn't get an opportunity often. What can you say about his performance last night and how big that was for you guys in that game?
That's huge. You know, I think your backup goalie is a big part of it, because you cannot carry away only with one goalie. You need to have your number 2 to win games for you and make the difference. And yesterday he made the difference. Not for the numbers will say he played a really good game, but if you watch the game, it's even more. He made key save at key moment. We played a good first period, but we could not score, and they had two great chances at the end of the period, which could have changed the direction of the game. But he came up big at key moment when we needed him, so really happy for him. He's a big part of it. He's a Stanley Cup champion. He won the Cup last year with Florida, and I think he brings a great leadership to our team.
I don't love singling guys out all the time because I know you have so many dudes on your roster that they play their butts off. But, man, Nick Schmaltz just continues to be this guy who he's a perfect, right next to Kell's teammate. They've just been working off of each other. What has been so big of a deal for him to be able to turn a corner to have the career year that he's having?
I think it's a long time coming. I think when we started to work 5 years ago, he was not the same person. He was not as mature, and he had some injury back then, and he put a lot of effort off the ice in his training and his preparation to get to this point. And you could feel last year it was coming. He had a great season last year, and this year he arrived. He was even stronger, and he's able to be even more consistent. So it's great to see him perform that way, no doubt about it, because he's an important dude, not just on the ice but off the ice as well.
What's the trade deadline like in an NHL locker room, and what's the reaction when it's over?
It depends. There's different trade deadline. I think this year I don't think the guys were expecting a lot of move. We knew we were in good spot. So it's a different spot than we've been in the previous year, where we knew a couple of years ago, okay, there might be guys who will be gone and the team will be lesser after the trade deadline. Here we knew that will not be the case, or we're confident will not be the case. So it was a great feeling, and there were a level of excitement, but at the same time, I cannot say the guys were expecting or hoping for a big move. I think Weeks was the piece we needed, and from there we're happy we have consistency. Don't forget, those guys love each other. They believe in each other. They love each other. They have what they wanted. I think they want to get through this together, and I think we will have that opportunity.
Yeah, Coach, it wasn't long ago when you had to worry about how many guys you were losing at the trade deadline for different reasons. Yep. How much of a relief is it now to have a much different situation here with the different ownership and the different competitively, you guys are in a different place. How much easier is it for you as a head coach to manage a trade deadline nowadays?
Well, it's definitively easier. But what I really appreciate is, when I started with Bill 5 years ago, we had the plan, which was a 5-year. The first 2 years was basically get every asset you can, every draft picks or young player you can, so you can build for the future. Year 3 was stabilizing a little bit and bringing those young players you drafted, bringing them in the lineup and see what is starting to climb a little bit. Year 4 was to start adding player in our group, in our age group, but starting to add and be competitive for the playoff, playing meaningful game. We talk a lot about that. And year 5, the objective is to make the playoff. And it's been not something happen and we're kind of wow. It's something that was planned that way. That was the vision Bill had and shared with us, and the vision we had. So it happened the way it happened, but it's cool to see, okay, that's what's been told to us, and that's exactly what happened. You saw last year the addition of the Sergachev and the Marino and the Ian Cole and Stanlon and so on and so forth. And you arrive this year, and here you go. It's keeping going. There's a Nate Schmidt and all those guys who come in, and now Weeks and those additions will make us even better. So that's really motivating, energizing, still the way you want, I think. And having an ownership will give the tools to the GM to put that plan forward and to achieve what you're looking for. I think that's really motivating, no doubt.
Bill Armstrong, of course, coming on earlier in the day with one of our other programs, and he talked about, some of the moves are, I think, just as important, some not moves, right? And we got to make sure and do business the right way. And you've got 3 more games on the road here before you come back to Delta Center again. One of those is Chicago. I think you guys you're at Columbus tomorrow, and then you have a Monday, Tuesday back-to-back with the Blackhawks and then the Wild at their places. We wish you the best of luck. I was going to ask you, though, Coach, I don't know if you heard this, Dylan Gunther, your guy, is now a radio superstar doing ads for the BMW.
Oh, yeah?
Is he offering you any discounts on a BMW now that he's working for them?
No, he did not.
What?
He kept it for himself or something, or maybe he feed his teammate. I don't know.
Well, now that you know, Coach, you better hit him up.
Yeah, ask him today. Ask him at practice tomorrow. You just see if he can hook you up, man, when you get back to Utah.
What's the game tomorrow night? If it's not on the power play, you know why.
Line change.
Oh, my goodness.
Thank
Coach,
you, guys.
You bet. Thanks
Coach,
for safe
thanks.
travels out there. There you go. Coach Baird Touringy. He's the head coach of the Utah Mammoth. If he's not out there in the power play, do the math. Do the math. All right.
And when he is, and Coach is riding a brand new BMW, things went well.
All right.
You see Coach next to the advanced window products.
Could you see? Listen, Coach Tourney in a Cybertruck, that would be hilarious. Yeah. I don't know. There are certain cars I don't think would match up personality-wise with Bear.
Probably
I feel
not,
like this is one of them. Yeah. But we appreciate the Mammoth always giving us access to Coach, and they're of course they get those last 2 wins. They've got 3 more. Look, I set the bar low at 3-2 on the road.
So
trip.
did I. I thought that 3-2 would be amazing.
And I got a text from my buddy Matt, who's the most knowledgeable hockey person I know, and he goes, "Can't go 5-0 until if you don't go 2-0."
Yeah.
And so carry that into the next one, and you go into the next one, and you say, "Hey," and you know what? They got to go into the United Center against Chicago on Monday.
Don't forget about the Columbus Blue Jackets. It's easy to forget about them. We always do because they're the most irrelevant franchise.
You've taught me to
in North America.
You've taught me to ignore.
But remember what happened last time they played
lost.
the Columbus Blue Jackets?
They lost at home to the Blue
It was
Jackets.
a stinker.
Yeah, and it was such a great game by
2
by
of
the
their
Blue
worst
Jackets.
games this year. Blue Jackets and Blackhawks. They can make up for it on this
in
trip.
2 different games. Yeah. The Blue Jackets were so good against the Mammoth that they fired their coach that night after they beat the Mammoth. So, all right, we'll see how that goes. I don't know. This team is interesting to me because I'm watching how, and we're getting better and better at knowing how this, what this animal is, this professional hockey in Utah. And I'll tell you what you see, and it's a noticeable difference. And it only happens when you, I think, watch as much hockey as we've started to watch now. You just get used to what guys are out there, what their roles are, and what their expertise is. And when you watch a guy like Mikhail Sergachev, who did not have a great game against Chicago, I think he sat in that. Did he? Yeah, he sat the first game on the road trip, or maybe it was the second one. I can't remember which one he did. But either way, the very next time that Sergei was on the ice, he's busting his butt and he's leading that team and he's doing the thing that makes it to where he has the A on the jersey there, because he's one of those veteran guys that he goes and then the team goes. You know what I mean? And so I think that that's just one of those.
Yeah, Sergachev sat out last night.
He sat out last night. So he was in the game.
Simashev played.
So he came out that first game against Washington on the road, and he was I think he was that first assist on that first goal, and he's just flying around, man. And that's the guy you expect to kind of set the tone. And he's one of those guys that is a leader on the team. And when he had a struggle like he did against Chicago, people looked around and go, "What's Sergei doing, man? What's going on here?" And so I think the leadership showing up and doing their thing is going to just carry this young team. And it was awesome last night. They showed in the as the game ends, the goalie always gets the love right after the game, right after the win. Mm-hmm. That team didn't just go up and do the normal line where they go, good job to the goalie. Kells got in Vanacek's face. Clayton Keller gets in his face and is has his arms on his shoulder, and he's just like that was freaking huge, and they're all hugging him hard. And I think, we talked about it before. I guarantee he heard some of the noise about yeah, they need a legitimate number 2 goalie.
Yeah, they never roll him out there because they don't trust him.
Yeah, and so when you saw 41 in the net last night, you went, well, he's going to have to take some of these games. How's it going to go tonight? How about a shutout?
Yeah.
And his 100th career win in the NHL as a goalie is a shutout for him.
I guess they didn't need another goaltender at the trade deadline.
Well, look, put the fire under people's tails all sorts of ways that you can to get them playing as well as they can. So the rest of the way here, the 3 games they have left, I've tried to tell myself that they carry that chip on their shoulder game to game. I don't think they think about the last game against Columbus. I just think they think to themselves, we play our game, we're better than all these teams. And right now, save maybe the Wild, who lost to the Mammoth last time they played them, the Wild are the only ones you look at and you go, that team is probably better than the Utah Mammoth on the ice.
Yeah, Utah's got their number. I mean, overall, yes.
Sure.
Record-wise, as far as being in closer to winning a Stanley Cup, absolutely. For some reason, the Avs have their number. It's legitimately possible that the Mammoth go 5-0 on this trip.
Yeah,
it's possible.
It'd be wild because then they come home. I think they have Pittsburgh and then they have Chicago again. Yep. Chicago comes back into town again. That's one that you would remember, by the way.
Yeah.
I don't care who you are. Those guys were pissed after that game.
It was bad.
So as you're looking at the lineup here, and it was a huge game last night for them because they get the win, but Seattle gets the loss, who is they're the wild card number 2 team. Can you believe that, too, the Kraken making the move that they have this year? And you talk about the Jets, who are they're at 60 points. I think that they were at 90 points last year at this point.
The Jets aren't out of this.
They're not out of it, but
they're climbing.
Everybody's looking at them and going, what are these guys going to do next? You have to beat the Blackhawks. You have to beat Columbus. You've got to – if you go 4-1 on this trip, to me that's a massive success. And then you come back home for a few, and you can get those there. But this team right now, those 2 games, these last 2 games that they've played have felt like that they are a playoff team. The prior game, that's why I think people get so disappointed. It didn't look like a playoff team. And then you go, I thought the playoffs were where this team was going to be because this is not a playoff team. More often than not, they've been playing. And, again, it's pretty hard to ignore the goal differential for the Utah Mammoth. The entire West below the Utah Mammoth, including the Kraken, are all in the red, as in they give up more goals than they score. And they have a plus 27 on the goal differential. That's phenomenal. Yeah, it is. And the only teams that are better than that are the Wild, the Stars, and the Avalanche.
And they're closing in on the Wild on that stuff.
Right, and basically in the entire league. You're talking about
East. Tampa's at 49. The Buffalo Sabres are plus 30.
Can you believe how well they've done this?
Carolina Hurricanes are 29, and then the Penguins are plus 25, and that's pretty much it in that ballpark. So the Mammoth are top 6 in the league in goal differential.
They've eclipsed that 70-point mark, and I'd have to do some research in the. I like to look at where they were last year versus this year. And, obviously it's not apples to apples on those two because other teams are doing different things this year as well. And so you have a different hill to climb, but they're up right now. They're the number 1 team in the wild card. And if that's the case and they get lined up with somebody in the Pacific Division, they have a real shot to win a playoff series there.
Last year, 97-96 got you in.
Yes.
So that means they need 26, 27 more points in 20 games.
Okay, doable.
Very doable.
Yeah, you win 14 games and you're there.
Yes, you are.
14 out of your next. How many did you say? 20?
14 out of 20. Could they do 14 out of 20?
That's a pretty tall order, but that's good. No,
that's what it's going to take.
But that's what you have to be. If you're going to be in the playoffs, that's what you have to be.
Yeah.
So, we'll see how it goes. I just don't know I don't know if this team, and Bear brought it up too. He's like, look, from a mentality standpoint, that's my job to make sure those guys are there mentally and physically because it's one thing to say, hey, why don't you just play harder out there? And the response by guys after that loss, I think they were embarrassed on Sunday.
Oh, you could tell. Yeah.
You could tell that was not their way. And yet at the same time, you heard Mike Folto came on with our show this week and he goes, yeah, but then you get on the plane with these guys and they're back to business as usual. They can't get caught up too much in the Chicago thing. What they're trying to do is just find consistency. Like, this is actually who we are. These last 2 games. That's what they want to do. And instead of saying, look, Sunday, that's not representative of what this team is. That's the outlier. And so hopefully that's the case with that one. We are at the home show. We'll come back. More to go right around the corner. Stay here. 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone.
Ladies and gentlemen, gentlemen, the biggest name.
You're locked into JJ and Alex. With the insight and analysis on the teams you can't live without. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Hey, head on over to kslsports.com/contests, and you can nominate a youth sports volunteer in your neighborhood who does an awesome job and does the volunteer thing, JJ. We have so many coaches, assistant coaches, team moms, referees, city, community parks and rec folks who are just their whole life is just dedicated to making sure the kids have a good sports experience. And we honor those folks with the Beehive Meals Hero of the Week program. Just go to kslsports.com/contests. Put the nomination up there. We read those winners off every week, and then they get $250 to Beehive Meals on top of it. So, boom, that's why it's the Beehive Meals Hero of the Week program. All right, JJ, I love this. We held this one in our back pocket this week because we had just such short shows like every day, it seemed like. Thanks, Mammoth. Thanks, Jazz. Mammoth and Jazz getting the dub last night on the road. East Coast swing, no problem.
An SCG daily double.
I will say that I saw this and I was like, is this too ridiculous that we're even talking about this? But I think it's important because, one, I saw a couple of things. One is that the death of bowls is upon us, and I hope it continues. No offense to, the Holiday Bowl committee, which I'm sure puts food on the table for them. Whoever these people are that are on these,
I think they have plenty of money for food at this point.
But that's what I'm saying. The guys who are on these bowl committees, it's a freaking joke, dude.
Yeah.
Like, we've seen it. How many times do we see the Poinsettia Bowl guys roll up in their red jackets when BYU had 5 wins and then they got their 6th win and they're like, today we declare BYU Poinsettia Bowl bound, and everyone's like, it just was so anticlimactic because they had a deal. It was like if they bowl eligible, that's the bowl they're going to, and they weren't going to any college football playoffs. They weren't going to any BCS at that point, and it was just so lame. And the bowls have gotten more lame, and I think you're going to see the death of more of these bowls, and the overhaul that they've been talking about, and what can happen next is a version of what we've talked about, which is these games have to mean something. They cannot just be blowing air up the skirt of the sponsor and going, hey, look at the Pop-Tarts. And look, I love the Pop-Tart Bowl. It's fun.
It's a fun gimmick, but it's a gimmick.
It is a gimmick, and you can't just call it the People's National Championship, okay? Don't do that because it actually makes it – because that's a joke.
Yeah.
It's not – it was a great game last year. Look, Georgia Tech and BYU was as good of a game on a national stage as you could have gotten that was not in a college football playoff. It was a good game. But I will say that the bowl system is still kind of trash, and it's still driven mostly by ESPN and other TV providers. And so, but I think that those folks can be convinced with the idea that there are better options for you to have and play these games and not have to give up. In fact, you'll make it so much a better product that we'll actually be watching more and more people tune into these games because they'll mean more.
And this proposal, Ross Dellinger reporting this for Yahoo, that there is a proposal out there, just a proposal at this point, from the leaders of the power conferences with high-level administrators to form a consortium, I love that word, consortium, of 10 bowl games, each pitting power conference programs. So it's not the college football playoff, but it's the next tier below. You get the 10 best teams, or the 10 best bowls, so that's 20 teams into the 10 best bowls outside of the college football playoff, and you put those matchups together. So for the first time ever, a Utah or a BYU could play in a Gator Bowl. Or, who knows what bowl you'd land in.
I love it because the affiliations don't make a lot of sense still.
Not really. Those traditions are dead.
They are.
We don't even have Big Ten versus Pac-10 anymore in the
Rose
Bowl.
Yeah.
So why are we so worried about some of these
the
classic bowl alignments?
The Boca Raton Bowl? Yeah.
So it would be fun and different. I like it. It's going to take a lot to get bowl season interesting again, and maybe that helps a little bit when you try to put the best matchups together regardless of affiliation, because right now you're just having – so we have to have one team from this, and we're going to get the 6th place team from the the Big Ten or whatever, and then they're going to play the fourth best team in the Big 12, and that's it.
Yeah.
Like, let's get the best matchups together. Let's get the best teams that aren't in the playoff together and find the best places for them, and let's make it the best product you could possibly see, the best matchups. I think the fans would like that, and I think that more importantly, the TV networks would like that.
Well, so you brought that up about the consortium of the Power 4 teams.
Yeah.
And I know you might be thinking to yourself, oh, what about the group of 6 guys? They deserve bowls too. They'll probably have their own bowls. But you know what? You have group of 6 play group of 6. You don't need to have the Chanticleers taking on Auburn. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think you need it. I don't think you want it. I don't think any of us want to.
You probably already saw that in Week 11 in the SEC.
That's a good point.
I'm joking.
No, you're not. Hey, can we get Mercer in a bowl game again?
Yeah.
I really like playing
we really
those
like
guys.
that matchup. We really like that matchup.
So here's what the projections are in this way too early bowl projection that we have here. So these are just. I'm going to start with the Power 4 ones. And again, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So they have 14 on the list of the Power 4 tie-in ones. Be easy to pare those things down and just make the biggest names and then have that be it, right?
Yeah.
The ones of importance with the ties to here, the Sun Bowl, according to CBS Sports, the Sun Bowl would be hosting SMU and and Utah.
Okay.
That would be a Sun Bowl. Now the Pac-12 doesn't have those bowl affiliations.
They do, actually.
Year. They still do?
Yes, they do.
I thought we were done with it.
That's
last
why
year.
Utah would be in the Sun Bowl.
That's what I was wondering. Like,
That's why it's one more year. Yes.
Oh, and of course the powerhouse
Utah
from the
has
ACC.
to go to an old Pac-12 bowl game, even though the new Pac-12 is launching
and
this
the
year.
powerhouse in the ACC, the SMU Mustangs, are going to be right there. Okay, so that is from that standpoint. That's who they have in that one. Now, these are the quote-unquote top tier, the top tier non-playoff bowls. The Pop-Tarts Bowl would be Houston versus Clemson. The Holiday Bowl would be Washington and Virginia Tech. Ooh, how about James Franklin already getting a bump in year one?
Okay.
Maybe. All right.
That would be
That'd be crazy. That'd be a
huge improvement for
year.
Vautech.
Oklahoma, Louisville, and the Gator Bowl. The Alamo Bowl featuring UCLA and BYU. I don't know where Bob Chesney's going to be coming from on this one. Brand new coaching at UCLA.
That's quite a jump for UCLA as well.
Look, the Alamo Bowl is the best bowl that's not a playoff game, right, for the Big 12?
Yes.
Okay, so Alamo Bowl, UCLA.
Well, technically, they did something weird last year between the Pop-Tarts Bowl and the Alamo Bowl because BYU had been to the Alamo Bowl the year before, so they switched it up.
And they matched them up with a ranked opponent for the Pop-Tarts Bowl, so it felt like it was a better bowl in that sense.
Right.
They have BYU.
But essentially, yes, to answer your question, the Alamo Bowl has typically been the top non-college football playoff bowl game.
Top
for the Big 12.
non-college football playoff bowl means they finish second-ish in the league.
Second or third.
Behind Texas Tech again, who they have in the playoff is the only Big 12. By the way, the Citrus Bowl, neither Alabama nor Michigan, according to this one, would be neither of those guys would be in the college football playoff. I don't know if the expectations for Coach Witt year one at Michigan should be anywhere past that necessarily, but why not? At the same time, why not?
Well, we've talked about it. You go through the Big Ten, and which top-tier team is Michigan knocking off?
Right.
Because Indiana's now placed themselves up there. Ohio State's definitely going to be there. And Oregon. So that's the big three right now in the Big Ten. Who's the fourth team? Can the fourth team get in the 12-team playoff for the Big Ten? It didn't happen last year, and some would say, well, USC is probably that team.
Yeah, and unfortunately –
or Iowa.
Well, but the reality is that now you have Notre Dame who just will steal a spot from somebody.
Which didn't happen last year.
Which did not happen last year. So, according to this one, your top 4 seeds in the playoffs, these are teams who get byes and are already in the quarterfinals. Miami won. You okay with that?
Yeah, actually I am.
They got the Mensa kid out of Duke,
Mensa's
right?
coming, and they have a lot of guys back from that team last year. Should be good.
Miami 1. Texas 2. You on board with Sark being 2?
Absolutely not. It's not going to happen.
The automatic bid for Texas to be higher than they actually are going to be.
Every year.
Why not? Indiana now has become a mainstay. They're the 3rd seed in this one, which means they would be the highest-ranked Big Ten team on this list so far. So, yeah, champion of the Big Ten again. How about a third year in a row going to the college football playoff and a second in a row of winning the Big 12
That
or
would
the
be
Big
insane.
10? It'd be crazy.
I don't think it's going to happen.
Okay,
I think Ohio State's going to be a top 4.
They'd have-
Ohio State's winning the Big Ten.
Okay,
This year.
all right. I don't hate it. Now, so then let's get to the rest of the ones who are going to be facing off in the first round. LSU's your 9 seed taking on Ohio State, your 8 seed. Ole Miss taking on the 10th seeded Ole Miss Rebs, taking on Oregon at the 7 seed. So you have Oregon ranked higher than Ohio State, according to this one.
Interesting.
How about this for another? You ready for the? I guess this would be the 4th Big Ten team. You ready for it? Any guesses?
Iowa.
USC.
Okay.
Come on, you know better.
I
than
said
that.
it earlier.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, of course, they're already like, these guys are going to be better. Here
Texas
you go.
or USC, always overhyped every single year.
So they have USC and Georgia, the 6 seed Georgia, facing off of that. That would be a really, really good game. But again, these are hosted on campus, so you'd have Ohio State hosting LSU. Don't you love the games that are hosted
That's
on
the
campus?
way it should be.
And they should do it for the quarterfinals,
Agree.
too. Autzen Stadium has got Ole Miss and Oregon. That'd be a phenomenal one. USC goes to Georgia. Phenomenal. And then your group of 16 would be the 12th-seeded Memphis Tigers going to Lubbock to take on the Big 12 champion Texas Tech Red
Interesting.
Raiders.
Memphis.
I
We'll see.
don't hate this list. Now, yeah, Memphis would be the one group of 16. Now,
I could see a Pac-12 team getting in next year.
really?
Boise State, Washington State.
Oh, come on.
Washington State's now group of 5.
I know, but I'm saying,
I don't know.
but they're not very good still.
Eh.
Them
The
and our-
Pac-12 is going to be highly competitive.
Okay.
In the group of 6 level.
Is UNLV back again? Dan Mullen bringing those guys
In the Mountain West.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
You won't see a Mountain West competitor, I don't think.
think so.
Where's UTEP at?
Hey, don't sleep on the
Don't
Miners.
sleep on the Miners. Oh, you can't. You should actually.
It's a new era in El Paso.
No, it's not.
The Mountain West era begins in El Paso.
No, it's not. Pay Dirt Pete is terrible.
You sure about that?
No,
you sure
we're not.
About that? You
Absolutely
sure
not.
about that?
Put all your money on UTEP to win the Mountain West in 2026.
Oh, my goodness. Okay.
Book it.
So, yeah. Again, when we do these early bowl
Utah
projections,
State dodged a bullet, didn't they?
good for them.
It just reminded me
No,
how that all went down.
Good for them, man.
Yeah.
Good for them. And is Gloria Navarro still the?
She's still a commissioner of Mountain West, and I do like her, and I think she's doing a great job.
Okay.
It was just an extremely difficult situation.
Yeah.
And she's managed it as well as she could. She
You're
used to work at the West Coast Conference.
I know you're treating it like it's a mommy and daddy don't love each other anymore, but we do still love you, kids.
It was a divorce. It's certainly, and it's still playing out in the courts. There's still some unsettled things.
Somebody's
it's not
gonna-
final yet.
Some money's still going to roll your way.
The divorce is not final.
It's still going to roll. You're going to be paying alimony,
Still awkward.
but you'll still be able to. Will you sit on the other stands though at Jimmy's game? Okay. Can't stand hearing you yell all those things at him. Okay. We'll take a break. We'll come back. We have more around the corner. We have a top 10 for you on a Friday edition of the show. Also, we have for you, well, we're going to sit down with Jake again and give you some awesome dulls on advanced window products, being able to bring you factory direct replacement windows. Awesome deal that is show deal only. So stay tuned right here, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Your home for the best coverage of the Jazz, Utes, and Cougars is right here on the Zone. This is JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
A little bit of Island in the Sun by Weezer. Not bad.
Good vibe.
Yeah.
Big Weezer fan.
So Bumbershoot is like it's a Seattle like music festival every year they do. When I was in high school, you paid like $10 and you got a wristband, and it was basically like they would let people in until it was at capacity at these outdoor venues at the Seattle Center, just right by the Space Needle. And I saw the weirdest concert ever that I've ever seen. Weezer opening for The Roots. This is 1997.
Wow.
This is
You saw him for
1990
$10?
Yeah. This is 1997 Roots, too.
Wow.
And then, so it went Weezer, The Roots, and then Fugees. Yeah, Fugees were at height of their power.
Oh, they were a big deal then.
Height of their power there.
Yeah.
And that was the weirdest concert I've ever been to. And I say weird because that's just all over the place, but I love all those groups.
Yeah,
So I was just
it's
like,
good music.
It's cool to see because you would have you'd have rock bands, you'd have alt bands, you'd have, no country. But
Good.
I'm
fine with that.
Yeah, me too. Anyway, you ready for this? I got a top 10 for you. World Baseball Classic just kicked off.
We're all watching.
I don't even know if you saw that
I'm locked in.
Shohei Ohtani hit a baseball out of the park.
Yes, he did.
And it was good for 4 points. That's how that works.
So weird.
When you hit a grand slam, right? I've got in front of me the power rankings of the World Baseball Classic.
Okay.
I've got 10 teams in front of me, listed from 10 down to 1. Your job is to name off as many of those countries who are in the top 10 power rankings. These aren't just the power rankings. These are like the world rankings prior to
I don't have to get them in order. I just got to have the 10. The 10 best countries in the world in baseball.
Yep, I'm ready whenever you are. Right. Napolis, if you've got the timer.
As I hear the timer, I'll go.
Get set, go.
United States, Japan, Korea, Mexico, Curacao, Venezuela, Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico.
What was that? What was that pronunciation?
Puerto Rico.
Ding.
Little Bad Bunny.
I love it.
What have I not got? What's left?
Others. You've got 3 more countries left.
3 more?
Yep.
I already said Korea.
You got 7.
Okay. I guess Curacao.
No Curacao. Nope.
Canada.
Ding.
France. Germany. Saudi Arabia.
What?
They're in the Little League World Series.
Out.
Who else? Australia. No? Okay.
They're in, but they're not.
What other
10.
island nation? Honduras. El Salvador. Panama.
Going through all of Central America.
Panama?
Huh?
Panama? No.
No.
Brazil?
Panama? No.
No Brazil?
No Brazil.
Okay.
There's your
what did
timer.
I not get?
Well, you skipped over quite a few. On your way down to Brazil, you skipped over.
I missed the Central American.
South American, Colombia.
Oh,
You missed the
Colombia.
Colombians.
Okay.
Now, you got 8, so you missed Colombia, and I'll give you a pass on this one. Number 10, it's a European team. The Netherlands.
Oh.
Always sneaky
The
good.
Dutch.
Yes, the Dutch.
Smoking a pancake. I knew they were good at that. I didn't know they were good at baseball.
I've been to the Netherlands, and it's honestly like baseball is definitely like the very, very number 2 for
It's
that
a
country.
number 2?
Oh, yeah. It's a –
Why?
Because it goes – something happened. I don't know what it was. Oh, here's part of it. A couple of – so Suriname's one of those countries at the very top of South America you never hear about,
Yes.
right? And it was a Dutch colony for a long, long time. They were exceptionally good at Caribbean nations obviously got really, really good at baseball.
Sure.
So the Netherlands started putting together like some decent teams that were guys who were Dutch nationals who lived in South America. So, and I met a guy when I was over there at the Netherlands one time who was like, I go, oh, so what brought you over here? He goes, my parents are from Suriname originally. I came here to play baseball in college. I was like, you played college baseball here? He's like, yeah.
That's crazy.
I'm like, that's bonkers, man. So
never would have guessed that.
All right, we'll come back. More to go right around the corner. Stay here. 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone.
Accessing.
When TV and radio collide.
Love it.
Wow. This is what you get. You're listening to JJ and Alex.
Don't touch that dial.
On 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Welcome in, everybody. JJ and Alex, 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone. We're on the road at the Mountain America Expo Center here in Sandy. Going to be here for a little while longer, but, of course, the show goes all weekend long. The over-the-phone price for advanced window products deal, though, only available today. We've been handing that out, and so we appreciate Jake and Nate, the guys at Advanced Window Products, hosting us here at their booth at the home show. So last hour we were talking with Coach Bear Touringy. Had a little bit more pep in his step there, so to speak, on a phone call today as he's on the road. But they've gotten they've gotten their 2 first games on this 5-game road trip, and it's been obviously a massive bounce back from what they had going on Sunday. So let's kick things off here, though, with the cut, top of the program. And Travis Yost, TSN writer, of course, covering the NHL, is going to join us right now. Let's get right into it.
It's time for the biggest story of the day. This is what made the cut with JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Trajan Wealth brings you this portion of the program, TRAJAN Wealth.com, for all your trusted local needs in retirement. TrajanWealth.com. It's Travis Yost. He writes for TSN. He covers the NHL. Travis, first of all, thanks for joining us on what I assume is a very, very busy trade deadline day for you. So thanks for hanging out, man.
Yeah, no problem. And first day of winter in Salt Lake City too. It's nice.
Sounds like it. We got more snow today than we did in January and February.
You're not kidding.
Oh my goodness. Well, the depressing weather situation being what it is. That being aside, we talked to Coach Touringy an hour ago. They're on the road, obviously, on this 5-game roadie before they come back to Salt Lake and Delta Center again. But, man, 2 huge wins already off the bat against Washington. And then last night, a shutout for Vitek Vanacek, the second goalie on this team, against Philadelphia. What are you seeing out of this Mammoth team right now that I guess you're expecting out of a team that is trying to get to the playoffs?
Well, there's a few, I would say, hallmark indicators of when you really start to believe in a team and their playoff pedigree. And I got to write about the Mammoth at TSN about a month ago. And it was an article about 2 teams, the Mammoth and the Buffalo Sabres, who, by the way, I would say in many respects are carbon copies of one another where they're at right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, very, a younger team where the organization stockpiled really good picks and prospects for many years and probably for too long, frankly. But a lot of those assets are now NHL caliber players and pretty darn good ones at that. And it's not a shock that they are literally the 2 hottest teams in the league since about the Christmas holiday. And one of the unifying theme between the two, because they're not, I guess they're not perfect replicas, but the unifying theme is they play with pace at 5-on-5 in a way that makes lots of teams uncomfortable. And yes, a team like the Colorado Avalanche or the Carolina Hurricanes are going to be able to skate with you all day long and maybe a little bit extra on top of that. But the majority of the league cannot run 3 high-quality forward lines like both of these teams can do, specifically Utah. I think their forward group is even a little more impressive. And it creates so many different challenges for opposing defenses. Like the NHL, there are coaches around the league still who want to hard match lines. And, yeah, you might be able to get away with that with facing top-heavy teams. In my opinion, it's one of the reasons why the Edmonton Oilers have banged their head against the wall a little bit over the years. It's never been for the lack of what Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl can do. It's, well, what are we getting in the 65% of the minutes that guy's not on the ice? Utah really doesn't have many deficiencies down the lineup, and I think you could have argued, which is a nice segue, I guess, to the trade deadline, they really could use one more puck mover or workhorse in the defensive zone to free up their springy forwards who want to get out on the attack. And that's exactly the trade they moved. Love the move to get Mackenzie Weegar from the Calgary Flames. I think he fits in it fits in seamlessly within the lineup and within the organization. And he's also, he's a veteran on a team that almost certainly should be looking for Game 83 and what the playoff field is going to look like. And we've talked about this before. The Mammoth, even though they're 4th in the division, if they can hold on to that first wild card spot and cross over against the Pacific and play, likely one of Vegas or Anaheim, they might even be favorites in that series with how well they're playing right now.
Yeah, let's get into the deadline. And what you mentioned him briefly, Mackenzie Weegar. Can you go more in depth on what he is as a player and what he's going to be able to bring to the table for the Mammoth? And it looks like the Mammoth were able to get a player like this without having to give up too much.
Yeah, and they give up futures, right? And that's really where Utah is right now. It wasn't that Calgary on the other side of the trade is going to say, hey, look, we got several good draft picks here. Weegar had a long-term contract. We're not going to be a contender in the next 18 months. This, to me, is the classic, of which, by the way, there were very few of these at this year's trade deadline, one of the quietest I ever remember. This was a classic win-win, where a Flames team not interested in competing for the next year and a half gets a lot of futures, and Utah gets a really, really good top 4. And in my opinion, he's an above-average second-pair defenseman at this point in his career. And what does Weegar provide? Well, like I said, I think the key strength of this Utah team is there's no singular line or defensive pairing that if you take them out of the game, you beat the Mammoth. They're a pretty deep team, and they may not have the absolute highest end superstar talent, but they offset that with depth. And one of the ways that you can win in this league, and we've seen many a team do it, if you can roll 3, if not 4 lines and 2 to 3 quality defensive pairings, you become very difficult to beat in the playoffs when games get very tight. Mackenzie Weegar, how does he fit into this lineup? The number one thing I would say he is known for or reputable and what he brings to the table, he is a defensive zone workhorse. He is going to do the proverbial dirty work in and around the net front, and most importantly, turning defense to offense. He's one of the better defenders you will find in the league at being able to win 50-50 battles, corral loose pucks in the defensive zone, but he also skates and can generate north-south passing and springing his attackers in a way that not a ton of defensemen around the league can do. He is a very good passer. He is a good skater with the puck. And to me, that is exactly the type of player you want playing behind a Dylan Gunther, right? Dylan Gunther's an amazing, but just using him as an example, an amazing forward, a very capable winger with a deadly shot. You don't really want him spending inordinate amount of time trying to win 50-50 battles behind the net and then having to skate all the way up ice and play make or shoot on his own. These really deadly 5-on-5 teams find defensemen who can play in the modern era. They can skate with the puck. They can transition the puck north-south. They don't make a ton of mistakes. That's exactly what he is. And for a defense that I think has outperformed this year, I would say between the two positional groups, I think the defense is a little thinner in talent than the forward group. I think Weegar helps kind of bring a balance to that. And, I think this Mammoth team is going to go as far as their ability to be able to roll these lines in defensive pairs pretty consistently. And if you look across the aisle, going back to earlier about, hey, look, there's a very real scenario where they're drawing in against one of Vegas or Anaheim. I don't think either of those teams want to play the Mammoth. I have to be honest. And that's the Ducks would be, first time cracking a playoff berth in quite some time here. But, a Vegas team that's got the reputation of few around the league, I don't know that that's a great matchup for them either. And frankly, the Mammoth have outplayed the Golden Knights this year. So I think this is about maybe fixing the one potential hole on the blue line and sprinting into the stretch run here.
Travis, what's the thing? A quarter of the season left, obviously 20-ish games left for almost everybody in the league. What's the thing over the last 20 games that gets teams into the playoffs? What's the thing that keeps teams from, or I guess has teams shooting themselves in the foot and losing out? We were talking like last year, we're like, are we going to have to see the Mammoth go on a 12-game win streak like the Blues did by the end of the year to try to get themselves in? What is the thing that you see that teams do to make sure that they're in, and what things that teams have melt down when they don't make it?
Well, I can give you two answers. The first one's a little more mechanical. The first period of that Flyers-Mammoth game was a chore. It probably felt a little more boring than the average Mammoth game. There's a reason for that. Certainly the Mammoth and most teams, probably 18 to 20 teams at this point left, a lot of these teams on the cusp or on the fringe of making the playoffs or not, you tend to see a lot more grinded out games later in the season where teams are, especially in third periods, get very risk averse because they know that just getting the 1 point in overtime, even if you lose, that can help buoy you in the standings in a way that, that's one of the fundamental differences between the NHL and the NBA. If you can kick a lot of games into overtime or the shootout, you're going to get that auto point, and then that third point, effectively, that goes into that game, it becomes up for grabs. And I think that's a little more standings mechanical. I think really the bleed-in or the tie-in to answer your question is not shooting yourself in the foot, not making mistakes, and metaphorically gripping the stick too tight. But I think you've seen teams. The teams that have melted down late in seasons over the last decade or 2 decades, they find ways to lose. And I know that's like a classic 100-year-old sports metaphor that every one of the big leagues, talks about. But it really is true. In a low-event sport like hockey where 2 goals or 3 goals on a given night can win a game, you really can ill afford mistakes. Frankly, I would argue that the reason that the U.S. men's team won Olympic gold was because Canada made the critical mistake, right? 2 half-baked back checks in overtime, and all of a sudden you won the silver medal and not the gold. It came down to a single play, right? And you don't want to make it, a complete 1-to-1, but the stretch run of the NHL season is a lot like that. You have to play. This team has to still play with pace and tempo. It's why they're good. You can't bog the game down too much, but you can also shoot yourself in the foot and make that killer mistake that you can't come back from too frequently.
Do you believe the Mammoth did enough at the trade deadline, or do you think they should have been more aggressive?
I think they did enough relative to the field, and I think some of what informs that answer is this was truly the quietest trade deadline in some time, and I would say this is part of a broader multi-year trend. By the way, NHL business, especially the bigger deals, the more marquee headline type trades, they tend to be happening more in the summer and the off season as teams have a better understanding of their salary cap, the position of their lineup. So the trade deadline has, I was joking about it, but really I'm not joking that much about it. The trade deadline, the one thing that it's become known for is acquiring like 13 forwards and 7 defensemen, like depth guys, and that's what you saw most around the league. So Utah is one of a few teams that actually added a material and high-impact player. Unfortunately for them, you got the Colorado Avalanche, for example, adding Nazem Kadri, who I would say that's a tit for tat. So the few teams around the league did make moves, and I think Utah, I think they hit the right balance of, hey, look, we're not going to overextend ourselves, but we've got a clear window here. We're clearly one of the best 8 teams in the Western Conference. How do we get over this finish line, get Salt Lake City their first taste of playoff hockey? I think it was the right approach. I think they found a player that fits not just this year but for a few years forward. Could I have dreamed up a scenario where they make one more trade and get a Robert Thomas or a Jordan Kyrou and from St. Louis and really try and stretch what their 4 lines look like? Absolutely yes, but then that becomes a question of, well, what about next year and the year after? And do we want to put all our eggs in one basket, or do we think this one trade is significant enough? And it may be that it moves the needle in a meaningful way, and I think that's where the Mammoth ultimately landed.
Travis Yost, he writes for TSN, covers the NHL, does an awesome job, and is nice enough to join us on these. Across the league, you said it was quiet. Was there a sneaky deal in there that wasn't dealing with? Obviously, we're on the Mammoth side of things, but I mean, so many names are thrown out there and nothing really happened. But what were there other teams that just did some stuff quietly that you think is going to make them make a run here in this second third of the season here?
Yeah, I do think that the Avalanche are not going to sneak up on anyone, literally no one. But I think you could argue that, and I'm not, I think Uyghur's on the short list of most impactful names move. I think you can make an argument that what Kadri can provide. I mean, the Colorado's trying to do what Utah's doing, but a little bit on steroids, right? Like, can we create 3 high-caliber lines that really can take the play to teams no matter who's on the ice? And I would say that that's the other name that kind of rings the bell. I do think maybe the most interesting thing that happened in this trade deadline was between the St. Louis Blues and Buffalo Sabres. The Sabres, like we mentioned earlier, very similar position to the Mammoth. The only difference really is they can still win their division. They tried to make a big splash for Colton Parayko, which I actually thought was a pretty risky deal considering the contract. Player's been dealing with back injuries, 32 years old now, like still a good defensive defenseman. Not sure he's the same skater. Nevertheless, trade gets reported. Like 24 hours later, it comes out publicly and formally that Parayko's not going to waive his no-trade clause, so that deal dies for Buffalo. They went out and made some depth moves, and I thought for sure, okay, well, St. Louis, now knowing that Parayko, he was putting his thumb on the scale, he wants to be moved out west, and they're in blow-it-up mode. I thought, okay, the Kings aren't really a competitor, but could a team like Anaheim jump into the fray? Could a team like San Jose, who it's not their year this year, but next couple of years, a team rapidly on the come up with their young talent, could they go in and grab Parayko at the deadline? Ultimately, he didn't move, so you had a trade put into effect, reversed, or ultimately eliminated because the player didn't waive his no trade clause, and now you've got a veteran, very talented, still likely Hall of Fame defenseman just going to sit in St. Louis. Likely becomes an off-season trade, but that could have been a pretty big fish for the Sabres or another team out there, and it didn't happen.
Travis, we appreciate it as always. Love reading your stuff. Love getting the insights here. We love that we get a little bit of extra bonus access to you because of the tie that we have here locally. And on top of it, we're soaking up all the hockey, man, and we're just getting used to it. I'm like watching games now with the type of education that I think I'm getting there, man. Like and my kids are like suddenly,
hockey night at the Kirry house.
Oh, my boys cannot get enough of it. I mean, that's honestly the number one thing they want to watch.
There's one thing, I'll be a pitch man, that I will sell the NHL product 100 times out of 100 on this final point. These games can be a little trying, especially when you're still in contention. We got to cross the finish line to make sure we qualify for the playoffs. Once that pressure abates and you're really talking about playoff hockey, it is a completely different animal. The energy gets ratcheted up in a way. I mean, if you've got any taste of what Olympic hockey looked like, it's like, oh, it's the Olympics. It's only once every 4 years. Or in the hockey world, it's once every 20 years at this point. That is what the NHL offers from a playoff standpoint just about every single year. It's the greatest 6-week stretch, and love hearing that your kids are getting into it. Good stuff.
Love it. Thanks, Travis. We appreciate it, man. Have a good one.
Take care.
Travis Yost, TSN. The more I think about it, the more I'm trying to be normal about, like, hey, does this team really – I mean, they're on the brink. I mean, even though – 3 points separate them from the Kraken right now. I mean, that's a game and a half.
It's not much.
It's not a lot. And they got – I mean, if they would have lost last night and Seattle lost, and they did, if the Mammoth would have lost last night, it would be 1 point still that separated them. If the Kraken would have won and the Mammoth would have lost, you would have seen the Kraken take the number one spot because that's how close everything is, like edge-wise right now. And, man, if you want to win a playoff series, if you're that WC1, if you're that wild card one spot, you're in a great spot. And to be rewarded on a year they're busting their butt, that'd be awesome, especially if they got a series win. Don't want to get ahead of myself, though. You know how it is.
If they want to do that, they got to keep going. They got to go on a streak here to make themselves feel comfortable because you mentioned the Kraken. I mean, the Oilers, Ducks, all those teams are bunched up in that spot with and who knows who ends up winning the Pacific because there's only 4 points separating the Knights and the Oilers there. But then you look down the standings, and you've got 3 teams with 64 points, and they're playing good hockey right now. The Sharks have won 3 in a row. So if you have a 2 or 3 game slide, you're in big trouble. You can't afford that right now, and that's why last Sunday was so disappointing because it felt like that slide was coming, and instead it says a lot about this team that they corrected themselves after that game, and they pick up 2 huge road wins. They got to keep it going. You can't have these 2, 3, 4 game in a row slides, or you're right back in that group. And the Jets are coming too, so it's not going to be easy. It's going to be a dogfight just like last year to get in.
Let's take another break here. We'll come back. We got more to go. Stay here, 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone.
All the latest news and notes from the league and the locals in the NFL. JJ and Alex bring you the NFL Blitz on 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone.
All right, everybody, welcome back. JJ and Alex, 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone. Thanks for being with us on a Friday edition of the program. We are at the home show, and it's been a good one so far. I'd say so far. I mean, we're
well attended.
We're moving. Oh my goodness, so many people. I'm glad that
we have to get an Uber to get back to my car.
No.
Oh, I can just get
got the Cybertruck.
There you go.
Yeah.
I'm going to get a lift with Advanced Window Products.
Could you imagine just pulling this thing out onto the carpet right here and then just trying to go?
Just driving through the home
come
show.
on, move out. Come on. We got to get JJ back to his car here.
Yeah. I got to go home, man. A beehive meal waiting for me.
Yeah, man.
In the slow cooker.
That's exactly. Kirker. That's exactly right. Let me see here. I've got something for you here. I think, except for my oh boy. Your laptop pooped out.
I know, I'm sorry.
I know. Okay.
I left the charger at home.
I know. And now
it's Friday.
My phone's acting funky. Hey, Scotty, though, on Monday is going to be at RGS Exteriors in South Jordan. Join him out there, 4235 Farm Road in West Jordan. RGS Exteriors. Okay, let's talk a little bit about. Hey, looks like I saw the headline today, and it was such BS. They're like former Pro Bowl quarterback just been released from his team. Where is his landing spot? And I went, first of all, I know they're talking about Geno Smith. Mm-hmm. Second of all, don't ever use Pro Bowl as a positive or like it's something that has weight anymore.
That's true.
Never say it in an article because it doesn't mean anything. if you say All-Pro, I'm in.
Yeah.
And by the way, if he's a former All-Pro, probably not being released from a team, okay? Former Pro Bowlers get released all the time because former Pro Bowlers aren't very good, okay? Sorry, Geno. But look, when we're inviting who made it this year? Oh, when we're inviting
Shedeur Sanders was a Pro Bowler.
That is
as a rookie.
Oh, my gosh. You know he went on that Wikipedia page and put a 1X Pro Bowl selection. You know he did.
Right next to his retired jersey at Colorado.
So, look, there you go. Geno Smith's been released. Does he have a place in the league anywhere else ever again?
I do think he still does.
Okay.
And, you're a Seattle Seahawks fan. Be honest, like, he was quite a surprise in Seattle.
He was phenomenal.
He rejuvenated his career.
Yes.
I think he was on a bad Seattle team with an offensive coordinator who was stealing money. It was a bad situation.
Who is that?
You know who that is. Chip Kelly, who's no longer there.
Who's stealing money.
Landing in the right spot for him, and I'm not saying as a starter. I could see Geno being a great mentor to another young quarterback that's out there, and there's a lot of good spots he could land in. So I definitely think there's a place out there for Geno, but I don't know if that starting spot is out there. That maybe a return to the Jets. They're looking for a quarterback. I don't know. But as far as a starter goes,
Wait, he's been at the Jets before, hasn't he?
He's 35 years old right now. His time as a starter may be up.
Did he start out at the Jets?
Oh, yeah. Remember?
Years
he got
ago.
his jaw broken by a teammate in the locker room.
Oh, that's right.
And he was a bust in New York. That's why it was a great story. And, again, every quarterback that goes to New York is a bust.
But, again, we talk.
Which would give Zach Wilson a lot of hope that he could find a home somewhere.
Right, but again, you're in a bad situation and you're a decent quarterback. Like the Raiders aren't a good situation.
They haven't been. You're right. And that hasn't been. The difference between Seattle Seahawks Geno and Vegas Raiders Geno is pretty stark. So,
hey, it's me, Vegas Raiders Geno.
Hey,
Vegas Raiders Geno could have been a thing. He could have been a thing.
Yeah, it could have.
Next up on the NFL Blitz here. Looks like the Rams are going to re-sign Cam Curl, 3 years, I almost said $300 million. That'd be a pretty good contract in the NFL. 3 years, $36 million contract.
Yeah.
Joe Mixon just got released.
Well, they made a trade. Who'd they trade for? My brain is in
Oh,
Friday mode. The Texans. Montgomery from the Lions.
That's right.
That's
a huge get,
Mixon
by the
was
way.
expendable, and I would rather take Montgomery over
For
Mixon
sure.
at this point in his career.
The Browns accountants give those guys all pro status because they had to go through and they had to rework and this is still a thing, the Deshaun Watson contract. I'm shocked that something came back and bit the Browns in the butt.
Yeah, they always make good deals.
So they reworked the Deshaun Watson contract so they could lower their cap hit. For a guy who cannot play, for a guy who is washed up.
I tell you what, though, it'd be a heck of a story if he came back this year and actually performed at his old, like his old self.
Okay, so my question: so is he going to be the guy then next year?
I think so. I think that the owner is so prideful and so stubborn that he wants to get something out of Deshaun Watson. So Deshaun Watson will go into the season as a starter, even though at this point I'd rather just roll with Shedeur Sanders and let the season play out. Deshaun Watson, I can't imagine that he's still got it after all the injuries and everything else that he's been through. When's the last time he was on the field where he was productive at a high level? When he was at his best, he was good.
Yeah,
but
agreed.
it's been a minute, a lot of minutes.
Last one here for you from the NFL world. Can't go without mentioning that Tommy DeVito just got himself a 2-year, $7.4 million deal to be with the Patriots. Tommy Cutlet's staying on the East Coast.
The DeVitos are moving to Boston.
I can't go any further than Boston because I got to send my laundry to Ma.
Where's he going to get his chicken cutlets in Boston?
Ma! I'm done with my segment. All right.
His accent's going to get confused.
I know, very, very. Yeah, he's going to have to go full.
Good for him.
He's going to have to go full Duncan. He's going to call up call up your guy
Tommy's a true Southie now.
Matt Damon and Ben Affleck. Call those guys up.
They'll hook them up.
They'll get you some help. All right, we'll take a break. We will come back. Final segment of the hour next. Stay here. Best and worst next. 97.5 EKSL Sports Zone.
Wrapping up the hour with our picks for the best and worst moments on today's show. As JJ and Alex want to hear your best and worst of the day.
Hey everybody, welcome back. Final segment of the hour here. We'll get you with Jake from Advanced Window Products here momentarily. In the meantime, I did want to play, since we're in the best and worst. I don't know. I'm torn on whether or not I want to give Russell Westbrook any more pub.
Why not? Former Jazzman?
Former Jazzman, Russell Westbrook, two-time. Isn't it a two-time?
Two-time.
Well, I've got his jersey.
How many players in NBA history can say they've been a member of the Utah Jazz twice without ever playing a minute for the Jazz?
Jersey goes in the rafters, right, because of the triple-double stuff?
Raise it.
Put it right next to Larry Miller's thing, and you'd be like, he's proud. Proud of his guys. All right. Here's Russell Westbrook. I don't know what started the conversation, except for just that he was grumpy and the Kings suck.
Somebody in the some people or one specific media member said about the Kings.
Yeah, and they were bringing it up. They're talking about their.
He went at the media.
So here's what he did during this press conference: turned it into not answering questions, just telling media members that they don't play NBA basketball.
What y'all think though? Because y'all got a lot of answers and y'all always be talking. Oh, it's very interesting. You guys have a lot of opinions about how we do what we're doing. What you got? No, you. Yeah, you make a lot of statements and broad statements that you have no context. So where do you get your context from? Are you in practice? Are you at our film session? Are you anywhere around the building? No, I haven't seen you at practice. So the false context of, and actually, do you know me? I know you. No, you don't know me. You don't know me. You don't know me. But you make a lot of comments as though you do know me. No, you don't. My intent, I see it. But I'm asking you now, but you don't know me, right? So you don't know anything about me. Not you personally. Thank you.
There's Russell Westbrook. He went on. It was another 2.5 minutes of him berating media members for not being able to cross him up on the court.
Whatever. Look, we in the media have a responsibility to be accurate and fair and do everything we can to be as informed about our opinions as possible. But These are just opinions. We get on the radio and we share our opinions about what we see, what we observe. We talk to people. We get an idea about what's going on in the organization. Russell Westbrook saying that if you're not in the locker room and you're not a member of the team, you have no idea about anything is pretty insulting because we all have eyes. And it's insulting to you, the fan, because you also have eyes and you're a paying customer. And you have your opinions. Again, they're just opinions. Of course, we don't know everything.
These fans aren't at practice. They're not in the locker room.
How would we know everything? We're not. We're banned from being in those places.
I know,
and that's fine. But you can't turn around and criticize the media for not being at the practices and in the locker room when you're not allowed to be in the practices in the locker room. We all have opinions. These are just opinions, Mr. Westbrook. Don't get so mad about it. You guys stink. You guys are a bad basketball team. You're at the end of your career. Those are facts. Everything else is just opinions. It's not that big of a deal. We all have them. Players have them. It's funny that these players that will say stuff like that end up having media careers when their careers end.
We'll be back. More to go. 97.5 EKSL Sports Zone.